Today I'm making roasted frozen vegetables with lemon tahini sauce. Now I love roasted fresh vegetables in season. There's nothing better than that. But if the vegetables aren't in season, or you just don't have any on hand, or you don't want to take the time to prepare them, this is a great way to get that same flavor using frozen vegetables. I also love frozen vegetables just for the convenience, but let's face it, cooked plain frozen vegetables often don't have a lot of taste. So this is a way to get that same taste of roasted fresh vegetables but using frozen. But there are a couple keys to keep in mind in doing this. Number one, we're going to start with the frozen vegetable. Don't thaw them, don't cook them. And we're going to just toss them with a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. And you can add other seasonings if you like. Frozen vegetables are just as nutritious as fresh. And oftentimes they may be even more nutritious depending on the season because they are picked and packed at the peak of freshness. So I've got broccoli and some cauliflower here. And I'm going to just toss that with some olive oil, kind of the same amount or even a little more than you would do for fresh vegetables. You really want to get it kind of coated with the oil. So several tablespoons. And then a good pinch of salt and pepper. And again, this is where you could add things like garlic powder, onion powder, Italian seasoning, but we're going to have the lemon tahini sauce, so I'm not going to add any other seasoning to the vegetables. You just want to be sure they're well coated with the olive oil. You could also use something like avocado oil with this if you like. And I actually need a little more oil to get those that were on the bottom. So I mentioned using frozen, straight from the freezer, tossing it with the olive oil and seasonings. And then the other key is while you preheat your oven, to get the oven to a very hot temperature, 450, but put your baking sheet in the oven while it's preheating. So then we're going to put these frozen vegetables on that hot pan. So I've taken that very hot pan out of the oven. Be sure you have oven mitts. And I'm just going to put the frozen vegetables on the pan. You kind of hear they sizzle a little bit. And you want to spread the vegetables out to where they're not touching. So we want to get a good browning action when they're in the oven roasting. So you don't want to steam them. If you have them too close together, they're going to steam. But get them to where you see some space. If you need to use two pans, this is an extra large pan. But if you need to use two, you could do that. So they're all spread out. And so this is going to go in a very hot oven, 450 degrees. And depending on the size of your vegetable, it's going to take about 20 or 30 minutes. I like to stir them around after about 10 or 15 minutes so it gets nice and roasted on all sides. While the vegetables are roasting, I'm going to make the lemon tahini sauce. Tahini is simply ground sesame seeds, and it's the main ingredient that is in hummus. And it provides a kind of nutty taste to this sauce. So I've got half a cup of tahini, and to that I'm going to add the zest of a lemon. Gives a nice bright flavor. The juice from that lemon. A pinch of salt. And a half a teaspoon of garlic powder. And I'm just going to whisk that together. And depending on the thickness of your sauce, you can add a little water to thin it. So I'm going to add about a tablespoon or two of water, just so we get a spreadable consistency. So that's all there is to the tahini sauce. I'm just going to pour this over the vegetables, and this would be really great on any vegetables, not just to the broccoli and cauliflower that I have, but it'd be great on green beans, on zucchini, even over something like roasted sweet potatoes or butternut squash. And this will keep in the refrigerator covered for about a week. So the vegetables are done roasting. Mine took about 25 minutes. I've got some big pieces here, but you can see they've got some nice browning to them and some crispy edges. And these would be great just as they are, but I'm just going to take it to the next level with this lemon tahini sauce. And I'm just gonna drizzle that over the top of the vegetables. And as I mentioned, this tahini sauce will keep covered in the refrigerator for about a week. And the vegetables are best served the day you make them, but you can refrigerate them for a day or two if you want to do a bunch at one time and have leftovers. So this is great with these type of frozen vegetables, with broccoli, cauliflower, also with green beans, even with frozen potatoes, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, any kind of frozen vegetable. You can get that wonderful roasted flavor by freezing them again at high temperature, 450 degrees, and put the pan in the oven while it preheats and get that hot. So when you put those frozen vegetables on there, you hear a sizzle. I hope you give this recipe a try.